Elon Musk confirming he wants to start charging verified users monthly. He's already changed the cost from $20 to $8 after complaints from many, including author Stephen King. But is Elon serious? According to his tweets, it appears to be so.
I think we're in a situation where we're watching product development happen in real time, and we're just not used to it. Many times when we've seen other social media companies change, we wake up to the change in an algorithm, or we hear about things through a news release. In this situation, we have the owner of one of the biggest social media companies out there, and the most relevant ones, that's actually testing out some of the changes in real time, and that can be very dangerous. First of all, when it comes down to the idea of the verification process and what it really means for people, let's be straight about a few things. It's really not about anything else but making money, because Elon's realized that Twitter is actually not the cash cow that a lot of people thought it was. The revenues are horrible. It lost $344 million US last quarter alone, or prior to him taking over. And there's a real hole in the fact that the books aren't clear about how they're making money. And the verification process is just one of those things that he realized he can commoditize to a point where it'll keep people on the platform.
Meanwhile, Musk said today that accounts previously suspended, like former U.S. President Donald Trump, won't be reinstated for weeks after the U.S. midterm elections. So is this because it will take time to reverse the action, or is Musk actually taking concerns of misinformation seriously?
So here's the bigger concern. Social media is a big player when it comes down to politics in the US, and we saw the impacts that TikTok had on the last election. And so if Twitter doesn't get their act together for politicians, it's going to be very tough for people to reach an audience. That's a voting audience, an engaged audience, and that's why people are a little bit worried about where it factors into the US midterm election. However, it's a little bit of it's not really his main priority or concern. And while he can be pushed into a place where, he can verify people or bring people back to a platform, he's not necessarily going to be able to tilt in favor of politicians using the platform as their only source. So what I'm basically saying is many politicians have to start looking at other avenues to reach their voters in general. And the bigger worry probably is that with TikTok having such an impact and people ignoring it for such a long time, it might now be a time for politicians to have to consider other options on social media.
Speaking of misinformation and fact-checking on Twitter, users are already claiming they've noticed a difference in keeping things honest on the site.
Twitter's an ecosystem, and so there are several different add-ons. There are several ways you can moderate. There are bots on the site. It's not just one company that holds all of the power there. And because of that, you can't moderate with so many inputs. You have people from around the world that have different ways of being able to communicate on multiple accounts. You have different agendas happening. In fact, there are so many private accounts on Twitter that I wonder, what is he going to do about the relationship associated with private accounts and people and hate speech, etc. So I think what's starting to happen is we're starting to realize that there are a lot of holes in the way that Twitter's operating.
Despite Elon's best efforts, Mohit Rajan adds that there's expected to be another dip in earnings, with more advertisers worried about Twitter's future.